Morning, Torah Ohr, page 110, Pashas Vaera, the first mimer. We're holding, the line starts with Hamidus, it's like the brackets, Hamidus v'zeu Shema Yisrael. A little like 60% down the page. Okay, so the last thing we said on Monday is that even though we are in Golus, the Alter Rebbe compared it to like pregnancy, nevertheless we have the power to draw down Hashem Echad into this world, and not only into this world, but also into the individual person. Everyone is comprised of 7 emotions, so you have the ability to bring in the 6 emotions, you have the ability to bring Hashem Echad. Okay, roll in V'zeu Shema. V'zeu Shema Yisrael, and this is what it means. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, Pirush, Yisrael Am Karevai, that the Yidden, who are a nation which are very close to Hashem, Lachein, being that they're very close to Hashem, they're a nation which are Karevai, Nitin Lahem HaKoyach Lahamshech B'chinas Havaya Lemata, they have the ability to bring the level of Havaya down to this world. So Shema Yisrael, listen, Yidden, you are Am Karevai, and you have the ability to bring the level of Havaya down into this world. That what? That Havaya, even though Havaya transcends the world, is higher than the world, but you have the ability to bring the Havaya into Echad. So Shema Yisrael, Yidden, you have the ability Hashem to bring the level of Havaya where into Echad, that it should be one with the Tachtenim. V'zeu tachas kol ha'aveda nation Yisava Kadosh Baruch Hu liyes le'yidira b'tachtenim daike. And this is the purpose of why this is our Aveda, and because Hashem desired that we should make a dwelling place where down into this world. The Sabcha Sitra Achra, to transform the Sitra Achra, the Stalek Yikore, the Kucha Brichu, and to bring down the glory of Hashem down into this world. And this is what it means, that Mitzrayim should know that I am Hashem. Therefore, in a place where, as we learned a few times, that in a place where the Baalei Tshuva stand, Tzadikim Gemurim can't even go into that place. And this is what it means, David HaMelech writes in Tilim. In Kapitel Kuf Mem Tes, Yismach Yisrael, that the Yidden will be happy, but Eisav in their actions. Loshen Rabim. Eisav is plural.
Eisav is his.
So let's see. Loshen Rabim. Ki Eisav, what's Eisav? Hem Hamshacheisav b'chinas libe v'yischalkus. You're bringing the Hamshach of the Eibishter of divisions, to connect them with the Eibishter. Okay, so through connecting the Hashem Echad with all the worlds, automatically you'll be able to get to the level of that you love Hashem with all your hearts. And as the Gemara learns out, b'shnei yitzarecha, with both side the Yitzhahara and side the Yitzhatev. The Hainu, what does that mean? Shtei avas Hashem t'kul b'liboy b'isgalus kedish be'esh shalheves kol kach. That you're going to have such a love to Hashem. It's going to be like ingrained and so imbued in your heart. It's going to be like a burning fire. At sheyargiz Yitzhatev al Yitzhahara, until like the Yitzhatev is going to be like rule over the Yetzer Hara. Ka'adam shu bereges, literally bereges means like angry. So he explains, what's the Lashon Yargis? Ka'adam shu bereges al hibach ritzoni hataku alei belibay. It's like a person who gets very angry when the opposite of his will is being fulfilled. And it's very negea to his essence. Kach shetia avas Hashem bekerev ish v'leiv omak. So too, the love of a person is going to be so dear to him, like it's wedged and situated in his heart. It's going to really penetrate and be so negea to his essence. Therefore, since he's so connected and so plugged in with the Eibishter, so anything which is opposite the Eibishter, like the Yetzer Hara, he's going to be like angry at it. The main avodah is from Ava and has to be in a way of simcha, and when you mimikayim the mitzvahs, also should be done b'simcha. Like it says in Tehillim, Ivdos Hashem, serve Hashem b'simcha with joy. Uksiv, and it says also in Parshas Kisavai, Tachas Hashem le'avadas Hashem lekecha b'simcha v'tu levav merev kol, because you didn't serve Hashem with simcha, such and such happened. Mashabir Arizal Pirush pasuk zeh, as the Arizal explains this pasuk elsewhere. So the joy is compared to milk. It says the honey and the milk is under your tongue. Okay, the ksiv, and it says the hainu, what does that mean? So just like when the mother wants to play with the child, so she gives him milk to calm him down. This is like his play time. Because through the milk, the child literally grows until he's able to walk. Where does milk come from? It comes from the blood. What happens? The blood congeals and becomes milk for the mother. And where does the blood come from? Comes from the food and the drink that the mother ate. That it transformed in her and became the blood, and from the blood came the milk for the child. Okay, so now he explains, we're holding the second paragraph, or page 110, now the Alter Rebbe is going to explain in Aveda what's going on over here. So he explains like this. To understand this whole idea in the service of Hashem, it says in Parshas Pinchas, Parachav Ches, Pasuk Beis, we say as Karboni, the Korban Lachmi is like my bread, the Ishai for my fire. That the Korban, when we bring a Korban, in the times of the Beis Hamikdash, when a Korban was brought, this was the food and the sustenance Kiviyachol for Hashem. And through the Korban became a pleasant aroma for Hashem. Al derech, it's like Yisrael mefarnesin avim shebashamayim. It's like the Yidden are sustaining the Hashem in heaven. V'yin ha-korban, what's the idea of a korban? Lahakriv gam nefesh habahamis sheba'adam b'shas havos korban min ha-behema. So when you bring a korban, it's not only bringing the physical korban. The idea of bringing the korban is also bringing your nefesh habahamis as well, your animal soul. That you have intentions and you have your heart wants to give himself over to Hashem. Because you want to take away the bad from the world. And all the bad thoughts are going to be bottled. And you're going to want to burn it out and become one with Hashem. So the idea of the korban is not only bringing the physical korban, but also bringing the spiritual korban, the nefesh habahamis, to burn it up, and it should become like one with Hashem. So he says, "Va'achshav." Now, Shem Beis Hamikdash kaim batal karbanas. Nowadays we don't have karbanas because the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. So it's virtually impossible to take away and to rule over the nefesh habahamis in a total manner in the times of the Beis Hamikdash. So you had the korban. The korban together with the kavanah b'rusa deliba, you're able to rule over the nefesh habahamis. Nowadays we don't have the karbanas. Tefillah is connected to midin. That's why Chazal instituted that how do we replace karbanas nowadays is tefillah is with davening. And this is what we say: Baruch ata Hashem, blessed are you Hashem, Kalemer. Even though we cannot do our avodah through the karbonis, which is the Srusa de la Sata, Alpha Bikin. Nevertheless, yes, Srusa de la Ela, Machmaski Chofetz Chesed Hu. We ask Hashem that Baruch Ata Hashem draw down the level of Avaya, even though usually that's how the karbonis drew it down. But nonetheless, we're asking Hashem just to have Rachmanas on us to bring down the level of Hashem. Yuvrach, so we're saying Baruch. Baruch is like Melashon Hamshacha, drawing. Yuvrach v'yimshach mela'ela birchas Hashem. It should draw down. The bracha of Havaya should be brought down into this world. The Yishmai Nikra Aleinu v'chinas Elekeinu. It should be at the level of Elekeinu. Baruch Ata Hashem Elekeinu. That the Hamshacha of Havaya should go. Elekeinu should be Sheniya b'Telem Elov. We should be bottled it. Limshich Achra b'Cholei v'Nefesh. That our soul should be drawn after it. So that's the idea of karbonis nowadays. Is through davening we ask Baruch Ata Hashem that the level of Havaya should be in Elikenu. And this works with all mitzvahs. There's 248 positive mitzvahs, which are the 248 revelations of Hashem, which could be drawn down into this world. And this is considered like food for Hashem. So just like when a person actually eats, his body becomes strong, that the nefesh could actually reside in the body. So that's through eating. Through the mitzvahs of Maisim Tevim, your body becomes like a receptacle for the Eibishter Shechina to be in the Tachtenim. When you're able to draw down the level of Hashem Echad. And so to the Yidden. They receive ha'orah from this achila to send vitality to the heart and to the mind. To love Hashem with all your heart and all your soul. So karbonis is just like the physical karbonis were like achila for Hashem. So to davening is like achila for Hashem. And just like when a person eats, his body becomes strong. So too, mitzvahs and ma'asim tovim is like the achila that makes the body and the person and the world ready, that you could bring down the level of Hashem Echad. And also the Yidden, also just like through achila, when a person eats, it goes into the mayach and the leiv. So too, when a person draws down this hamshacha through davening, it also sends like a special ava and yira to the leiv and the mayach in order to love Hashem. And then afterwards it goes and it receives his ashpa from the blood. So Kamei explains, just like food, it transforms in your midst, and it becomes your blood. And this is the chayis and the kiyum of a person. So too, when a person is mamshech, the Eid Hashem through either sumrida and nasitev, what happens? Nasa kisi umachin l'shivtei. Until the light of Hashem comes and resides in his body, and it's mamish, then it becomes negeh to the nefesh. So just like when a person eats, the food goes to the mayach, then goes to the leiv, and then it becomes part of your dam. So too, when a person davens properly, so number one, it's mazon for Hashem. Also, it affects your leiv and mayach, and then eventually it becomes part of your dam. That means it's so that it becomes negea to your nefesh. And automatically, you're going to be able to be like angry at the bad in your body. Like we explained, just like when a person's angry on something which is negea to him, which comes from like the boiling of the blood. We know the blood is the soul of a person. And this is the level of Yitzchak. This is the idea of like a broken heart. The Hainu Ruach HaSitra Achra. This is like the Sitra Achra. The Alter Rebbe, we explained that it says Va'era el Avram. Va'era means I will show. So what does it mean I will show? So the Alter Rebbe explained that every Yid possesses the level B'Yerusha of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And then he got into a whole beer. It's not clear, but before we get to Yitzchak, Avram is the level of Ava. Avram is the level of love. Before a person's Davoid of Lo'ilim Yargiz, Avram is the level of Ava, that through a person eating, which is doing mitzvahs and ma'asim tevim, he's able to draw down, or able to draw chayis into the lev and the mayach, to love Hashem and to serve Him. So this is the level of Avram. And then afterwards, when it transformed to be part of the blood, that it becomes like the regas of Yitzchak, that's the level of Yitzchak. So again, Avram is the level of Ava. We said the Aveda is Le'ilim Yargiz. Yargiz means it's in a way of Gvura, that you're taking the blood and you're transforming the anger that through the blood that a person has, that it becomes negiyah to his nefesh, automatically he will be like angry at the Yetzer Hara. The level of Avram is before the level of Yargis, the level of Avas Hashem. So we said that through Achila, which means through davening, it affects your leiv and the mayach. That means that it gives your leiv and the mayach Ava. That's the level of Avram. The level of Yitzchak is already when it becomes part of your blood, you're transforming or you're taking what's negayah to you benefesh, and you're like getting angry at it. You're using your blood and you're getting angry at something which is negayah to your nefesh, which means that something which is hepich, avas Hashem, the Yetzer Hara, you're going to get angry at it. So that's the level of Avram and Yitzchak. Now he explains, and then comes to the level of Yaakov. Midas Rachmanis al nafshe. What's Yaakov? Yaakov is the level of Rachmanis on your soul. When you see that your neshama is not doing what it's supposed to, you cry out to Hashem from your distress. That through the midas of anger comes the midah of rachmanis, of mercy. When everything is very good and straight, then it's not shaykh to have mercy. And mercy is the beginning and preparation for simcha that will come after. When a person will think, hey, emes, it's true. Like the Alter Rebbe writes in Tanya that he says that how the nefesh, how he's far from Hashem and he's disgusted, and how it's the goof that's blocking him, but really the nefesh alikis wants to do what Hashem wants. So then, okay, and then you're going to have a true simcha to Hashem, asher kiddishanu b'mitzvaysav, that you're going to be b'kodesh elyon kisn erba b'menacheshach. And this is what it means with like a cry and supplication to your foes. At the bechia that you're going to get when loss of love is going to be in a way of re'iyah of seeing. You're going to see it. You're going to arouse the rachmanis from the previous past. And then it's going to be the beginning of being happy. In Hashem, and you're going to have a close and desire to Hashem. So that's Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. That's why we say Dafke in Shemini Esrei, Slach Lanu, forgive us Hashem, Ki Chatanu, because we sinned. We don't say it before Shemini Esrei, because we did not accept the yoke of heaven in Kriya Shema, when we say the idea in Shema of Hashem Echad, and that you want that the Echad that the Havaya should be in Echad, and then you see in your soul how things are lacking. Hashem, that you're lacking in the Eir of Hashem, you're sitting in darkness, and that's why, and then you're going to have Rachmanis, realizing that you are lacking the Hashem Echad, you're lacking the Eir Hashem. Then you can come to a true Simcha. There's no Simcha greater than this. When you don't have the level of Rachmanis, then you don't have true Simcha. It's like a child when he's born. It's like when a child is born and he comes to the world, then he cries. And then you give him milk. So the main Simcha that comes is through contemplating into Hashem. Hashem chose us from all the nations, and he brought us close to his Torah. That's why it says that the Dadim are in the place of the Bina. Okay. We're holding page Nun Vav, the top paragraph. And this is what it means, that I appeared to Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov in the name of Kel Shakai. I revealed the level of Shakai. Shakai comes from the Lashon of Shadayim, which means this is like the milk of the breast. That just like the milk actually makes a child grow, so too the Shakai makes the Av and Yira grow. Which this is the level of Aves. When a person draws down the level of Hashem Echad, and it's revealed, he's happy that he has the extra light of Hashem. So Ve'er Avram means I will show that every Yid has Birusha. Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. We said this is the level of Ava, this is the level of Yira, and the level of Rachmanis. And he's able to draw down this level of Shakai through Hashem Echad, and this will cause him to be happy. However, however, the name of Hashem, the name of Havaya, I did not make known to them. Razal tell us, Avram Avinu learned the entire Torah before it was given, which means that is Makayim, the mitzvahs from love. Avram taken tefillah shachas, like we know. Avram instituted shachas, which means that he was able to be mamshech the Hashem into this world, avas Hashem, ava betanugim, to get to the level of loving Hashem, love the belief nefesh, and to serve Hashem with a complete heart. Nevertheless, it's called the Aveda of a servant, which means that he listens to the voice of his master and he does what his master wants with love and with joy. So to Yitzchak is the idea of Yira, Pachad Yitzchak. However, Moshe is a different midah. Shamar, what did Moshe say? Moshe was at the ultimate level of bittul. Like we learned yesterday, that because he was at the ultimate level of bittul, that's why he had a speech impediment. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu was zeichet to the level of Torah, which is Diber. And as Chazal say, that the Shechina of the Eibishter was shada in his throat of Moshe. So he says right there, at this level of bittul, in other words, Avram Avinu, Avram Yitzchak Yaakov, it's a very high level. But at the end of the day, it's like an Eved. There's an Eved, and then there's an Adon. So the Eved is doing it out of love for the Adon, but there's still an Eved involved. However, when a person is at the level of bittul, it's not shaykh. He's only going to get the revelation of Hashem. But like we're saying, the Dvar Hashem zu alacha. When it comes to Allah, Allah is very straightforward. When it comes to the ultimate level of Eiraisa Kuchabricha Kulu Chad, that it's the ultimate yichud, then there's no shaykh of feeling of love and pleasure. You don't feel yourself at all. Actually, bottom mitzias when it tefes makom latz miklal, you're total bottom mitzias, and you don't. The whole world is not. There's no you. But he just speaks what he has to speak. It says, I will place words in your mouth. And the level of Moshe Rabbeinu is able to draw down the level of Achdus, the way it was before the world. That it should be revealed in this world. It's like even now, the world is like nothing. There's no up, there's no down. The level of Moshe doesn't draw down the level of Ava and Yira, it only draws down the level of Bittul. This Avodah of Moshe is not called the servant. Moshe is not called the servant over here. When you learn this halacha, and you speak this halacha, it's like a king which is commanding the nation to do what he says without any explanation. And you're doing it, why? Because Hashem commanded it. That's what we said, Man Malki, who is the king, who's the queen? Rabbanan is the Chacham. When we say Masnisa, Bryce is Malkisa. The Mishnah is a queen. It's like a person standing in front of the king and doesn't do anything. He doesn't speak to him at all. It's like a servant who does the command of his master. So even though you have the Eved who's at the highest level, but at the end of the day, he's called a person who loves. He's a Yesh, Mishayev. And since the Torah was not given to the Aves, that's why it says, Shmi Hashem, Lo Nedaiti Lahem. Lo Hidaiti Inksiv, El Lo Nedaiti. She looks if Hidaiti Yimashmer the Koyal Shmi Hashem. Al Achsha Luksiv, Lo Nedaiti Pirish, Ani Ba'atzmi Nedaiti Lahem, Nainu B'chinas Ani Ba'atzmi B'chinas Yachid. In other words, the level of Atzmus Yachid, that because the Aves didn't learn the Torah or didn't receive the Torah, they were not shaykh to get the level of Shmi Hashem. This is what it means, which I command you today. The level of Anechi, this is the level of Yachid that only Moshe Rabbeinu could draw down. Being that nowadays we have the Torah after Matan Torah, so we're able to draw down the level of Hashem. Okay, we finished the Ma'amar. Baruch Hashem.